Are you still invested in the classic 60-40 portfolio? You know, the one where 60% of all of your money goes to stocks and the other 40% goes to bonds. It's been preached by financial advisors for decades, but here's the problem. It's outdated, it's risky, and in today's market, it could be setting you up for failure instead of the freedom that you desire. I mean, heck, even BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, is backing away from this concept of a 60-40 portfolio. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is a portfolio, a strategy that has been preached for decades, now being not used in the current economic environment? Well, here's the reason. Because this strategy, the 60-40 portfolio, it was built for a completely different economic era. And today, with failing interest rates, with inflation, and in a 40-year bond bull market, that era of the 60-40 portfolio is over. Today, we're entering a new cycle with rising interest rates, with persistent inflation, and with bonds that can no longer protect or grow your wealth. If you're planning your retirement like it's still 1995, then my friends, you're going to get run over by the realities of a 2025 market and beyond. Now, before we dive into the content, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ryan D. Lee, and this is the Wealth Outside of Wall Street YouTube channel, where we challenge outdated financial advice. We show you how the game is really played, and we give you the tools to build your very own passive income machine so you can retire in 10 years or less. So if you're ready to protect your wealth, multiply your income, and finally take control, then smash that subscribe button. And let's get into the truth that you're not hearing anywhere else. So let's start off by talking about the core problem with the 60-40 portfolio. It was designed around modern portfolio theory, which assumes that markets follow a normal distribution given a long enough time horizon, that risk and return have predictable trade-offs, and that bonds will cushion your losses when stocks fall. But the reality today is different than the theory of retirement. When you decide to walk away from your active income, theory, well, it goes out the door, and you live on your actual results instead. Markets don't follow normal distributions, they follow power laws. That means that today, just a few stocks, many people call them the Magnificent Seven, they drive nearly all of the returns. And when downturns happen, they don't come softly, they come in massive crashes. Oh, and that whole idea that bonds protect you during volatility thing, well, that only worked when rates were falling. From 1980 to 2020, interest rates dropped, making bonds rise in value. But guess what? That cycle is over. We've now entered a bond bear market, similar to what we saw from 1940 all the way to 1980. That means that bonds lose value as interest rates rise. Inflation eats away your purchasing power, and retirees who rely on safe income are losing money every single year. So still thinking that the 40% of your money going into bonds is smart is outdated theory that's no longer working in today's economy. This isn't theory, it's math, and it's history, and it's happening right now. So if the 60-40 portfolio doesn't work anymore, what does? Now listen, smart retirees, they're ditching outdated plans and they're shifting to something called a tailor-made wealth plan. A flexible, real-life strategy designed around your goals, not Wall Street. And according to updated retirement trends outlined here in this article, there are 4 essential components to this new modern wealth building plan. Number 1 is liquidity. You need cash that's available, no questions asked. We recommend at least 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in some type of an emergency fund that is completely liquid and completely available to you. Now, just because that you know that this is essential, many people fail to have this much liquidity on hand. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do I need so much liquidity? Well, because here's the reality. When the market drops or an unexpected repair hits in retirement, you don't want to have to pull from your investments at a loss to satisfy your short-term needs for liquidity. This is why you must be immediately liquid to cover anything for at least 3 months, preferably 6 months. Over 6 months, everything will get back to a normal cycle and you can deal with the volatility in the middle. Liquidity is what keeps you in the game when others panic. Now, number 2 is you need to focus on income. The entire focus of all long-term retirement planning isn't necessarily about the rate of return that you're earning. It's about the income that you can generate. So once you've secured liquidity, the next priority is locking in a reliable income stream to cover your essential living expenses, no matter what's happening in the market. And according to this article, that's where annuities, especially fixed index annuities, they can shine. Because the number one fear that most retirees have, it's not inflation, it's not taxes, and it's not volatility. It's running out of money. I mean, think about transitioning from active income to living off of your assets. If you're drawing down a portfolio of wealth, taking money out of the stock market, and you're watching your account slowly decline in value over time, your number one fear of running out of money is being lived out in real time. That's a retirement recipe for disaster. And an annuity solves that problem. It turns a portion of your savings into a paycheck that you cannot outlive. It's guaranteed. Even if you live to age 100, no matter what happens with the market, and even if your portfolio takes a hit, you still get paid. It's like a paycheck that comes in every single month for the rest of your life. Fixed indexed annuities are particularly attractive because they give you market-linked growth potential without direct downside exposure. Your principal is protected, and with an income rider, the purpose of an annuity, you can guarantee predictable payments no matter how long you live. It's like putting a floor under your retirement so that no matter how crazy the economy gets, your basic income, it's always secure. That stability gives you the confidence that you need in retirement to live abundantly. It gives you the freedom to enjoy your retirement without constantly watching what's going on in the stock market. The third thing that's essential is growth. Growth still matters. Once you've solved liquidity and income, now you can start talking about how do you preserve and perpetuate and even grow your wealth for the long term. Passive investing in index funds, it's not enough anymore. Smart retirees, they're using active tactical strategies based on economic indicators, moving between ETFs and defensive positions to protect downside and optimize returns. Now, active investing is more about adapting, not coasting. This is what allows your nest egg to grow without getting crushed when the market shifts. And the fourth thing that most people massively underprepare for is long-term care protection. Did you know that 50% of all adults are going to need some form of long-term health care, and 80% of people are not prepared at all, which means any of the money that you have in liquidity, any of the money that you have in your growth, or any of the money that you have in annuities is now at risk when the inevitable happens, when you have a long-term care need and you have nowhere to draw funds from but your other retirement account balances. This is one of the most overlooked pieces of a financial plan. People today, yes, are living longer, but often not healthier. What this means is medical costs, well, they're skyrocketing. And guess where the money comes from? It comes from your portfolio. That's why strategies like asset-backed long-term care, which is a hybrid life insurance product, this is why they exist, to protect you no matter what happens. If something happens and you need long-term care, you can use your policy, what you've already set up, to cover the cost of long-term care. And in some cases, you can cover your cost for the rest of your life. And if you don't ever need long-term care, well, kudos to you. Because it was built on a chassis or a foundation of life insurance, you have a death benefit that will pay out to your estate, to your beneficiaries, or to your surviving spouse. So a long-term care policy helps protect your wealth and your legacy without draining your income or leaving your family in crisis. So let's recap really quick what we just covered. The 60/40 portfolio is built for a world that no longer exists. Bonds won't save you, they'll sink you. Markets are asymmetric and volatile, and real plans include liquidity, they include predictable income, they include tactical growth, and they include long-term care protection. And if you're really serious about creating income that you can't outlive without spending down your principal, then it's time to also explore a private pension. There are other videos on this channel where I'll show you how to generate more income than any annuity can generate for you with only spending the interest, not giving up liquidity, and having all of your dollars backed by a real asset, by tangible, actual real estate. And if you want to go even further than that, you can start diving into the passive income machine strategy, where we'll share with you how to create 6 figures of tax-free income for the rest of your life. But that's a topic for another video. So finally, I love seeing that the retirement industry is finally starting to wake up and admitting what's been true for quite some time. They're telling you that traditional retirement planning, it's broken. And while it's encouraging to see advisors shift towards real-life solutions like annuities and tactical income planning, that's just the beginning. As you know, on this channel, we cover all kinds of tools, strategies, and tactics for you to turbocharge your returns, but more importantly, to generate financial freedom and do it in 10 years or less. When you understand how the economy works, you understand the rules of the game of money, winning in that game is actually easier today than it's ever been before. All you need to do is raise your financial intelligence to be able to see and seize the opportunities. So my friends, thank you for joining me on this video. If you like this video, drop a comment for me, subscribe, and share it with a friend, because friends don't let friends retire broke. And until I see you on the next video, rise up and live free.